All right, I'm standing outside the van this morning. I have to confess, because we've not been full-time on the road for the last few months, I got a little behind in some things like battery maintenance, as you can see behind me. So we'll get into that in just a minute. The van would not start. We're going to fix that problem very quickly. Okay guys, I'm going to confess I've fallen a bit behind on my battery maintenance. So today I'm going to take the opportunity to show you what that could really mean to you. So my van won't start. It goes clunk clunk. Look at that terminal. Oh my gosh. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to measure the voltage at the battery posts themselves and then the voltage at the actual terminal connection and let you see the difference. Okay, so this is the voltage right at the actual battery terminal itself, and as you can see, I've got 12.21 volts, which ain't great for a battery, but hey, there it is. And so now this is touching the terminal portion, in other words, after the connection to the battery post, and as you can see, there's about 2 volts dropped just because of the connection. That's enough to keep you from starting. So you guys remember, don't get too far behind on your maintenance. Yuck. You'll want to consider cleaning the top of your battery, because any electrolyte that has boiled out from around the post and spread across the top of the battery provides a conduction path that will drain the battery. Now the reason it looks so ugly here is because I've used a solution of baking powder, baking soda, sorry, we're not making biscuits, baking soda and water to neutralize all the acid that's in that stuff that's running across the top of the battery. Now that was not wet, it was just, you could see it was stained, it was there. So you'll want to clean that off. Okay, this is the corrosion that's built up on the post, and I've already cleaned this with baking soda, so there's not as much in there, but it's not a nice, shiny, clean connection on the end focus camera on the inside where it needs to be. Same thing's true of the ground post or the negative post. So what I'm going to do now, since my battery brush is missing in action somewhere, a simple piece of sandpaper to clean up this terminal here. Then I'll kind of roll it up and clean up the inside. What I want is nice on both posts and both terminals, nice, clean, almost shiny connections. You'll never get the battery post shiny, but clean it up. So the screw was all crudted, and I cleaned it up and sprayed it with lubricant. All right, so your job is through when your battery top is, for the most part, clean and dry. Pay attention to dry, it's important. Your posts and your terminals have been cleaned and they're looking better. Now, I didn't bother shining off the top. There's no connection there, but you can. So now we'll go give it a start and see where we stand. All right, the engine's running. It did start after cleaning the terminals. I'm concerned now about whether the battery is near the end of its life, because it is a fairly older battery, and also whether or not my alternator is working. A quick check on your alternator is measure it again at the terminal. If you'll see, I've got the test lead. Sorry, it's a little hard to film. It's getting bright. I got the test lead actually in the terminal, not just on the top post of the battery. And my alternator is putting out 14.27 volts. The only other check is to move this over. Now I don't even need to move it. We know the alternator is working at that point. I'll go turn the engine off and we'll come back and see what the voltage is. Alrighty, so just a few minutes that it's been, it's brought the battery charge up to 12.6. It was at 12.2, I think, if I remember right, but that is at the terminals. And I'm going to move one lead over to the battery post, top of the post here, you can see that, and as you can see, it didn't change my battery voltage nearly as much as it did before. Now what you see right now is it's dropping off a 100th of a volt, 0.01 volts, at a time, because that's what's called a top charge on the battery. Once that top charge is dissipated, it will settle to an actual, what the actual current, or excuse me, what the actual voltage reading is in the battery. So I'm pleased with this. We're fixing to go to the desert. So y'all get out, be safe, go adventure.